results of the investigation.
That was Tom Bateman reporting. All of this coming at a time when deep rifts are emerging inside the MAGA movement over President Trump's handling of the Iran crisis. Oil prices, of course, surging, questions growing about the administration's strategy. So how much are these divisions within his own base beginning to erode Donald Trump's political standing? And indeed, does it matter to him? Mike Murphy is a Republican strategist, former senior advisor to Senator John McCain, and also, now it is fair to say, a long-term critic of President Trump. I asked him what the war is doing to the popularity of this White House.
Well, pre-war, they were in trouble in the midterm elections. He already had the worst polling he's ever had in his political career on manager of the economy. So I think it's not so much a flashpoint event as the grind continuing. Hormuz stays closed, oil prices up. Mortgages here just crossed 6%, which is a thing. So I think it's a matter of how many weeks of this till frustration boils over. He was already in trouble.
And do you think then that the pressure will be such that he has to change course? Or does he just ride it out and not care? Because after all, he's not up for re-election in the midterms, though many Republicans are.
Right. But he knows if the Senate goes down, which is the uphill battle because many of them are lean Republican states where there's very scary private polling coming back to the Republican senators. They're going to impeach him. So he has an interest in midterms. The thing about Trump is it's always two forces colliding. On one hand, his egocentric craziness. On the other hand, his self-survival kind of feral instinct. He's a populist, and populism is about saying, you're right. He's not built for long-term pain. So I think he's going to declare victory soon on this war. And I don't think the country will buy it, but I think he knows he has his hand in a wood chipper now.
You mentioned the possibility of him being impeached. I mean, that would take 2/3, wouldn't it, of the Senate turning against him? And are you suggesting then, so for instance, if the Democrats won the Senate and had a majority, that there would be sufficient Republican senators who would turn on him? In other words, will we reach that stage, or might we?
We might. We're not there yet. If he wipes out the party and knocks our numbers down another 10 points from where they are now, which is, 20-year pathetic, there are no shortage of young, ambitious Republicans who would like to see him gone, but can't say it publicly. So if the Democrats had the freak upset in the Senate, which is now possible, I would not yet say likely. It's gone from impossible to in the practical realm of possibility, and the Dems came out with 51 or 52 seats. He would be in some danger. So if it all crescendos, the election could become, if you want to impeach Trump, you've had enough, vote D.
Is it fair to say that some, though, of the opposition that he faces in MAGA, particularly I'm thinking of the influencers, the online influencers, the podcasters, etc., people like Tucker Carlson, that actually some of the attacks are pretty unpleasant in themselves and bordering on and perhaps becoming not just anti-Israel, but actually anti-Semitism?
Yeah, with Tucker, that's definitely the case. And there are a couple of these white nationalist creeps running around on the internet who are pro-Trump. So that is another schism in the MAGA coalition. It was brought together by kind of love of Trump. Now that Trump's magnetic field of love is weakening, its natural stresses are starting to pop up. We've been stuck in this movie now for a decade, and there's just Trump fatigue. What you hear in focus groups is, well, he used to be able to run the economy. Now it's all screwed up. He's got a little drunk on power, and now we're in a stupid war nobody understands. And these are Trump voters talking. So does that mean they're ready to embrace the Democrats? No, they hate the Democrats. But there's real thirst for something new in the right-of-center populist coalition. And if this war drags on, it's only going to amplify those fractures.
Of course, all of this could be superseded by events, couldn't they? And the events could turn out to Trump's satisfaction, in as much it is still possible that the Iranian regime will fall. In those circumstances, if he can play it as a success, does everything you've just said go in the bin or not?
Well, I think he buys a reset with that. If the Iranian regular army decides enough and some general decides I'm tired of the Revolutionary Guard and the mullahs and somehow they get control, I think that would be a civil war, and then there's a humanitarian crisis, so the quagmire is worse for Trump. But if it worked, Trump will be able to declare a victory on that, and he'll get some love if it happens quickly. On the other hand, the real economic pain which is tariff created. The Republican Farm Belt states are getting hammered. The auto belt in the Midwest getting hammered. So I think he'll have a sugar high for 100 days. And if he can reset on the economy, pull back tariffs, do things like that, then he could have a path to getting back in the hunt. Otherwise, he'll pin medals on himself. He'll give himself the Congressional Medal of Honor. He'll get some love. But then the force of the economy, the pain at the cash register, which is what killed Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, will wreak a toll on him. If he can fix the economy, he'll fix his politics.
Mike Murphy, thank you very much, as ever, for talking to us.
Thank you.